Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, welcome to my vision, or otherwise, welcome to Ecomuseum Iria Village project. Please allow me to introduce again myself. I have studied archaeology and history of art, and I work in the wider public sector in a not relevant to my studies working field. I live in Nafplio, one of the most historical and touristic towns in Greece, with a population of about 15,000 people. You see it right here. And in 2012, I have started developing my family fields located in Iria village. You see it here. Iria village in a distance of about 30 minutes by car from Nafplio. It's a nice, a really nice way by the sea. And you see some pictures also by the sea, a rural area. Some short facts and figures. Population of about 600 people, a farming village, as I told you, with a summer tourist period of about 4 months. It has a special characteristic because of the cultivation of Iria artichoke, a hallmark crop of the village since 1947, which was granted in 2018 as a PGE product, as a protected geographical indication product. 85% of the artichoke production in Greece is grown in Iria. You can see here that in a distance of about 40 to 45 minutes, we have three monuments, three UNESCO's World Heritage Monuments. You can see it here. And I forgot to mention that the distance from Athens is about 2.5 hours. This was the UNESCO's heritage, and this is my family heritage, or in simple words, what I found there. I found fields, and you can see here, I found the typical traditional Greek house, which kept its original household and personal effects. And I also found an old stone mill since 1939 with all machines in situ. Both buildings, constructed by the famous for their technique maisons of Langadia Arcadia, and both in a need of restoration. You can see that, of course, different restoration needed to be here, and it's different here. The decision. After hours and hours of staring them and thinking about this, I started the organic farming of wheats, among them old Greek traditional varieties, and of course artichoke. As a limited production, because I wanted my risk to be really low, it was the first time, you see, and aiming to transform them in exquisite taste products. About the house, maintenance of the building, highlighting not only items, but also connecting local stories about customs and history and local history. And about the mill, building restoration and evaluation of the mechanical equipment aiming to work again. Turning this decision to a project, I thought that I had to fix a puzzle maybe in 3 pieces, and talking in a project language, I had to take 3 key actions. About the fields and the cultivation, my aim was conservation and promotion of biodiversity. About the mill and the house, again, conservation and promotion of the local cultural heritage, tangible and intangible. And the third key action, aiming to sustain local development, a connection with local enterprises aiming to an agrotourist model. The idea already existed, and it was introduced by the French museologist de Varine. It was the concept of the Ecomuseum, where museum, it's not strictly a building, sorry. It's something to do with an open air museum, with the conservation of heritage, and with the participation of local community. So you see the colors are matching, not only the colors. I decided to name my plan as Ecomuseum Iria Village because it was a vision for me, and it is a vision for me. And I thought that the visitors will have a chance to visit the farms and get acquainted with the crops. They will have the chance to make local history and monuments, to walk around the village, a home tour and a meal tour, an experiential tour in the old way of life, and of course, gastronomy in cooperation with local taverna, the small typical Greek restaurant, as we eat local, organizing meals with the village flavors, the old village flavors, in the house or at the taverna. And at the small Cafe Neo, the small coffee shop in other words, in the small square of the village, some again old, sweet, traditional flavors. This idea worked as a test model for about 2 years during April in a total of 60 visitors from Switzerland. Where are we now? The organic cultivation of wheat and artichokes and the cooperation with the oldest traditional pasta making shop in Nafplio led to an artichoke pasta product. You see it here with an old picture, old family pictures with my relatives in the fields. I think it's during 50s. And connecting this way a rural area as my village with the visitors of a tourist area, which is Nafplio. The mill project is ongoing. You see here what I found, and you see here how we are now. You see here what I found, and you see here what we're now. Networking also is ongoing. Networking is a technical approach. I believe in people, in human relations. I believe in connecting and sharing ideas. So I participate in non-profit organizations with other people who love to promote local stories. You will see it here in details, who love to fight to preserve Greek traditional architecture, to preserve Greek traditional seeds, and aiming to support ideas in UNESCO's list of intangible heritage, as the idea of the art of breeding cereals, for example. And of course, we all know that the COVID situation is ongoing. And some of our plans have not stopped, but maybe it's time to evaluate again, to reconsider and think the next day, the after COVID era, as they say. And I think that my vision, maybe it's more fresh than ever, because according to a report published during June, and this report is updated regularly, published by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. You see here in red, there may be a shift. We all know that the next day will be different in social, economic life, in many levels. But we see that there will be a shift in buying habits to favor local goods and tourism sites, as well as production from small local business and primary producers. For example, in terms of tourists, overcrowded destinations might see high reductions in tourism flows, while smaller rural destinations may become more popular. And it also has the example of the Veneto region in Italy to see. So reading all this and many more, because it says about some opportunities in rural areas, it seems that from 2022 and then, many of our plans started as a vision or as an idea in general, will be a fact, and maybe they will be implemented as a mission. So now more than ever, I think that I have a strong belief that this is a live project still evolving, and for sure this will be continued. I would like to thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Vasiliki. It's really amazing what you have achieved, I think. I don't know. The floor is open to everybody else to comment and ask her things.
Vasiliki, can you close the share?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Okay, I can start asking. I'd like to know this last presentation. How is the economic issue? Is it okay? Some problems, some money from the government, some support. How it is?
Love this question. I love this question because in 2012, when I started the cultivation, it was the year when my father passed away. So all these things you have seen had to, I had to pay many taxes, you know. So my economic situation was really, really bad. There was no funding from programs or from EU or from other supporters. And suddenly, the financial support came by the private donations by a couple of Swiss visitors who decided to offer money to make the mill alive again. Because, okay, the house needed some restoration, but with a lot of personal work, I did it. And the fields also with personal work, my risk was really low. But for the mill, believe me, the budget was, I could not afford it. And I tried to find financial support from programs and from ESPA, Aphrodite and Cleopatra could help me
It's
do
a
this.
state framework funding project program.
Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, all these programs needed private support. For example, in a total of 100%, I had to put, let's say, 25% of the total amount or 50%, which I could not afford it. So thanks to these people, my dream started to be alive.
Yes, funding is always a big question, and I think you were very lucky with these Swiss people. But also, you must have been doing something quite well. I mean, probably emanating your love for the place, and these people trusted you, and we see that the result is rewarding.
You know, when you have an idea, some people consider you as crazy, you know, because we have learned that not often ideas can bring you, I would not say money, but support, okay? These people, I think that you're right, these people believed in my dreams, in my vision, and of course in my love for the village, because I really love my village. I have nice moments as a kid. I love the tradition and intangible heritage because as a kid I was there, and it was nice to see my grandmother making bread or cooking or do some things. Of course, I forgot it, and it came to my mind again after many years. So that's one more thing about the intangible heritage, that it comes from, it passes from a generation to the next generation, maybe not in a specific time frame. Maybe it's something alive in us, and one day it wakes up.
It's very nice and very poetic, but you're right. Heritage is also about the senses, the intangible heritage, about smells you have from your childhood, tastes, anything, you name it.
Thank you, Vasiliki. Very nice project that we hope to see in presence, not
Exactly.
virtually.
I hope so.
If we start commuting again, we should definitely go visit.
I
Not far
wanted
from
to ask.
Athens. It's 1.5 hours from Athens. It's not far.
Yes, we will go definitely. We get to come to travel to
It
Greece.
will be my
Uh, I,
pleasure, believe me. Mhm.
I wanted to ask you about the Swiss. How did you engage these Swiss tourists? It was also a public program or something.
No, it all started because of the organic cultivation, and I insist to the organic to bio cultivation because uh, uh, it is an enterprise, an Ethiopian enterprise which is interesting in buying some artichoke, bio artichoke, organic farming, to export to Switzerland. So the first connection came through this enterprise because of the artichoke. And to be honest, not because of the artichoke, because of the the organic cultivation. So it goes again to the way we cultivate, the way we keep the biodiversity, the way we treat nature and climate change and so on. So with the help of these people, they organized a trip with their consumers in order to meet and visit local tastes and the area also. So they came for about 5 days. They stayed in Nafplio because, as I told you, it's the most one of the most touristic towns in Greece. And then during the 5 days, they had the chance to visit places and fields with oils, with wineries, in an agritourism model. And one day they decided, the one-day excursion was in Epidavros in the morning, in the ancient theater of Epidavros. And after 11 o'clock, 12, they came to Iria. So we had the chance there to walk around the fields, to meet the local production, to eat in the traditional house with my original plates and my grandmother's forks and spoons and everything. And then we had a small tour to the mill, which was in a really bad condition, as you see. And at the end of the day, we had a coffee at the Cafe Neo with some local flavors again, and they went away. It was my first meeting.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes?
Can
I cannot hear you very well.
In general, Vasiliki, can you turn on your camera?
Yes, of
now
course.
that you
Yes.
talk so much?
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
you hear me now?
Yes?
Sorry you can't see me because I don't have a camera on my face. So I want to ask you something. What was the reaction of the local community to this fantastic project? I mean, were they favorable to it? Is it a win-win situation? Did they see it in a sense of jealousy? What was the reaction? And secondly, do you notice that younger people may be more favorable to such enterprises than older people? Is there a shift? Is there a generational difference regarding such enterprises?
Okay, let me answer step by step. First of all, these people, the food, the lunch, the meal, everything we used was prepared in the local taverna. I'm not good at all in cooking, and that's the good part. I'm only good in producing. So, in cooperation with the local taverna and the Cafe Neo, I proposed them the old local tastes, and they decided that they will cook it. Okay, so the money went directly to the taverna for this. Also, the Cafe Neo prepared the small sweets and the coffees and everything. So at this first step, the two local enterprises, the Taverna and the Cafe Neo, were cooperative in a win-win situation because talking about money, they had a nice income for this period. And I was happy because I was sure that the final product, the lunch and the meal would be perfect because not of me. So I was really, really happy. Your next question was? Sorry?
Simply whether you see that the younger generation are much more positive to such ventures, let's say, vis-a-vis to the old people in such rural communities, to the older people. You know.
I'm not sure. I always believe in the next generation. I always do that because it is the future. It is the future. In my case, many people didn't know that the mill existed in the center of the village because the mill stopped the function during 60s. So think that the new generation after 60s didn't know that the village had a mill. So they started discovering again a secret part of the village, and it was quite interesting for them. Many people came to the mill, and they're still coming. The older people are remember things, so that's a part of intangible heritage I would like to promote. And the new generation is coming because I see that they're finding a place. It's not the Cafe Mio, it's not the taverna, it's not the square of the village. It's something like their place to stay, to talk each other, to share ideas, to laugh, to eat. So I think that something dynamic is coming there, and think that the mill is not ready yet because the project is still ongoing. But I love to see this next generation sitting outside and talking and I don't. It's something really live. And about the mentality, I'm not sure if the new generation is ready to follow a next step, for example, in cultivation, because for those of you who are in rural areas, maybe you know that there is a strong connection in families. So maybe the father is, let's say, 8 years old, and the son or the daughter is 40 years old, but the father, the family, has a strategy, a way to cultivate and a way to promote, and in words, you cannot change it. People are changing only when they see the difference with their own eyes. For example, a few days ago, someone stopped me by and said, let me ask you, I want to ask you about organic cultivation in olive oils, because I see that I have to move on and get into this way of cultivation. And I asked him, okay, how did you decide it? And he said that I saw it in my field. It was the best answer for me. And I asked him, how did you see it? He said, okay, for 2 years, because I was ill, I could not spread and I would not fertilize my olive oil so nice, so good. And I see that nothing happened. It didn't destroy. So I decided that I had to move on to organic cultivation. Then I was happy for this, but I thought that, okay, people have to see first and then to follow. And in my case, I don't like to say many words. I will do this and this and this and this. I just go step by step, and I have a lot of patience, believe me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you for trusting on my generation, Vasiliki. It was quite interesting and quite, I don't know, inspiring what you have known. Thank you.
Okay, so if no one else, thank you, Vasiliki. Of course, it was an excellent presentation, regardless, needless to say. If we don't have any other remarks, we may wrap it up today and renew our appointment for tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock EET, 10 o'clock CET, 9 o'clock Portuguese time, Greenwich time. And we'll have tomorrow. We'll have also some best cases presented by people. So it will be a much more varied, let's say, program. Okay.
Okay.
More invited speakers tomorrow.
Yes. We have more invited speakers for tomorrow. Today it was more difficult because people work until late in the afternoon, but tomorrow it's much more convenient.
Okay, perhaps everybody who's still here should fill out the link I've posted a little bit
Yes.
ago. I will put it again in a visual spot. And I can tell you control copy who already did it. So then those who don't hear their name, they know they have to do something now. So now I've put a link for the people who are present. And please, I would like, I already have answers of Constantinos, Antonio, Monica, Harry, Anna Santos, Alejandro, Giannis, Dimitri. But that makes that, of course, Vasilika, who was talking now, Aphrodite, who was talking now, Cleopatra, who is of the responsible team, Martin, who was always translating, Cecilia, they all still have to fill out, for example, this page. And I've noticed that David has already left and Paolo has already left. So those are two people who...
Don't worry, Veronica, because I took many screenshots.
I
Yes,
have
Okay.
also made screenshots.
So you don't
we
have to worry about
yes, we will pass also a satisfaction questionnaire or a feedback questionnaire. Thank you very much, Aphrodite. Thank you very much, Time Heritage, Vasiliki. It was fantastic session, and tomorrow more and better.
Okay.
And hopefully we meet soon in Greece.
Yes, hopefully. Let's pray.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.
See you
Bye.
Have a nice
tomorrow.
evening.
Bye.
Thank you, Vasiliki.
Bye.
Thank you, Harry. Thanks, everybody.